continuous. The word continuous itself is a paradox. It's a paradoxical word. It means something is dynamically flowing. It means constant also. The word continuous means two things simultaneously. Continuous means something is flowing. There is a continuous flow. Something is continuous means there is a flow. At the same time, continuous means it is constant. There is something same. And do you realize these two words are opposites? Something has to keep flowing, it's continuously flowing, yet something is same, it's constant. For example, start with a very simple example. This is an example usually given in traditional texts also. They say that when oil flows, it looks like a static thing. It's flowing, but looks like a static thing. It looks like a stick because it is flowing so uniformly. It doesn't look like it is flowing, but it is flowing. A vigorous flow is happening, but it looks still. This doesn't still capture the full essence of what continuous means. But to begin with, this is a simplistic way of understanding continuous. It's a combination of flow and constant. It's a combination of dynamic change at the same time sameness. Just that simple word continuous means these two paradoxical things. But whatever you presently acknowledge, mostly the physical reality, the psychological reality, they are discontinuous in nature. They are discrete, disjointed, like your computer. It is made up of bits, it's made up of pixels, it's made up of quanta. But there is something in your experience, not because somebody else is telling. There is indeed something in your experience which is a continuum. From moment to moment, there is no discontinuity, there is no break in your sense of existence. There is something that is flowing infinitely smoothly without any break. Even if you remember yourself 20 years ago and now, you still see that something is same. You have been the same. It's not the memory that has been the same. It is not your personality that has been the same. Something has been flowing unbroken, or even you don't have to go to years, many years. Just now, if you just sit right now and observe, there's a continuity in your way of being. Right now, to you, in you, there is something continuously flowing. There is something continuous in your experience. What this means is there is a tremendous movement happening, but it is still the same. There is a flow, at the same time, there is stillness to it. There is some kind of constancy to it. I started with a simplistic example to make you understand. If the oil is flowing, it looks still, but it is flowing. That's the basic point with continuity, that there is dynamic thing happening, at the same time there is sameness. But with the flow of the oil, something is still changing, the point in space is changing, and it is still moving in space, it is moving in time. Some changes are happening. But if you talk of a continuum in its absolute sense, what it means is something is flowing, something is moving right there, wherever it is. Life is imploding upon itself every moment. It is imploding, imploding, imploding. It is not a death-like state, it is not inertia. It is throbbing, something is throbbing. It is dynamic, that's why I was pointing out. Continuous, the word continuous itself is a paradox. It's a paradoxical word. It means something is dynamically flowing, it means constant also. A cycle is happening, but nothing is moving. A flow is happening, but it is constant. And there is, I'm talking about you, that continuous reality is happening in you right now. Something is absolutely constant, unchanging. But it is dynamically changing. And this is what the Upanishads a few verses in the Upanishads very poetically try to describe. It says tadejati tannejati, tat ejati, tat na ejati. It moves and it moves not. It is in dynamic flow, but it is the same. There is some constant aspect to it. At the same time, there is a tremendous flow to it.
You can make use of a few simple instructions to make this a meditative process. If your mind is too turbulent, you can first do a few rounds of deep, slow breathing and then practice this. Otherwise, you can directly start. Please close your eyes. Bring to your mind some vivid memory of yourself from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or from even before. And see yourself now. Something in you has been exactly the same. Your body has totally changed. All the molecules in the body have been replaced over the years. Your psychological personality has also changed. Your personality from 10, 20 years ago may look so different and so distant to you that it may seem like a third person. But some central point has been the same. Something about you has been exactly the same. There is an unchanging substratum which is connecting all that is changing around it. Something in you has continued so absolutely that it is exactly the same now as it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. Now observe that continuity taking place in you right now. From moment to moment, something in you is remaining exactly as it is. Like an immovable mountain, something is absolutely still and unchanging. But it is not inert. It is alive, it is throbbing, it is incessantly flowing. It is flowing infinitely smoothly without any sort of break. See the paradox of what you are. You are throbbing, flowing, continuing, but you are constant, remaining exactly the same. You are simultaneously flowing and static. You are simultaneously moving and still. Your intellect cannot grasp the paradox that you actually are. The only thing you can do now is just remain with this paradoxical phenomenon and relish it. Be with it more and more consciously, more and more wholeheartedly. Be with that incessant flow of your being, which is simultaneously absolutely still as well. You may open your eyes. You need to understand that this is the true purpose of the Upanishads when it goes on and on with paradoxical statements. It is to show your intellect how helpless it is to grasp the paradox that life is, that you essentially are, and bring the intellect to a graceful halt. Once thinking is shown its limit, after that the only thing you can do is pay attention to the paradox that you are right now. So you cannot make a philosophy of continuum from what was said in this video. You can only make it a process of keen observation. This is what Vedanta is, coming to the ending of knowledge so that something more can blossom in you.